Hello, and welcome to the live stream where it has been almost a year since I actually done a proper full live stream. Now, in case you didn't get to see it last week, I did do a test stream because I'm actually streaming on my new laptop that I've had for a week, which is the Lenovo IdeaPad. For those who actually want to know who watched this in the VOD. And I like the setup for it. Finally being able to not have to rely on my phone for everything when it comes to live streaming and such. Because it was when was that? Yeah, it was about a week ago that I done that. Yeah, about 7 days. Um, so yeah, I liked how it looked. I was like, okay, it's been. See, the last live stream that I done on this channel was nearly a year ago. And after that live stream, I kind of went into retirement from doing live streams. I gotta get used to looking directly into the camera lens here. So that's a thing now that I need to worry about. Also, I should have switched back over to the comment section. So yeah, I'm not used to it, so that's why I don't know how long this is going to go for. Because as I said, I went into retirement. Then I kind of stepped out of retirement to do a couple of live streams on Luke's channel. Luke's World of. I probably should have know. I should know that off by heart. I've been on his channel quite a bit, which is why again I'm glad to have access to my phone so that way I can scroll through my Luke's World of Movies and TV. I was almost right. I've been on constantly on his channel a lot. Whenever he asks, I usually say yes, but towards the end of last year, I said no a bunch, and then of course back when movie chats started up there, the live streams again on for them, I obviously hopped on there as well. And so once I got this laptop and I tested it out and I liked how it looked, I liked how it sounded, I liked the fact that I'm actually able to use this cheap ass headset that I got from GameStop uh back in the day before GameStop left Ireland for like a tenner. Um so whilst going to quickly actually just see how things sound without anyone in. Going to quickly actually, which sounds good. So just wanted to double check on that. So yeah, I have topics, obviously, whilst I wait for people to join in, because I'm not entirely sure how many people are going to hop in at like 7 o'clock at night at Irish time. But we will see. We'll see. But yeah, I have topics to go over because I seen on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X, but I seen on Twitter through discussing movies that the New York Times did a article which I am looking at, and I'm going to hope that that's not affected the screen at all. So again, let me just double check, which it isn't, thankfully. Yeah, so they've done a article for the 100 best movies of the 21st century, which apparently they consulted more than 500 influential directors, actors, and other notable names in Hollywood and around the world. Voted for the best films released since January 1st, 2000. So I'm going to go through that. I'm not going to go through all 100 picks. But we're going to see how many of them I've actually seen versus how many I've not seen, because that's common for me. The fact that I have not seen a load of great movies that I still have yet to watch. And then of course I'm going to talk about my recent watches, as well as what movies I'm looking forward to for the rest of this year. Now that we're already halfway through the year, which is wild. That's where we're here already at the halfway point. Then I'm going to talk about what's next for the channel, And then it wouldn't be a live stream for me if I didn't talk about Doctor Who or Star Trek. So I'm going to save that to the very end. So that way, those who aren't interested in Star Trek and Doctor Who, they don't have to, watch up until now. If you're watching the VOD afterwards, to have to sit through or skip through me talking about Doctor Who or Star Trek. That's going to be towards the very end of the stream. And of course, as well, if I get any questions or comments, I will, of course, answer them. So let's I'm going to take a look. Unfortunately, I will not be able to show you what I'm seeing on the screen because I don't pay for the premium side of StreamYards because I'm not that rich. So what I might do is I'm going to copy and paste the link into the chat. So for those who end up joining in, that should be there, which I can show. So I'm not sure if that's going to show up or not. But anyway, I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's dive into it. So I've already been spoiled on what number 100 is, and that is Superbad. This is a film that I've seen bits and pieces of. It's not one that I'm actively gonna go goes out of my way and watch. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my type of comedy. I suppose. There's a few people in this film that actors that I just don't like. Michael Cera being one of them. I don't mind Jonah Hill all that much. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those actors to want to actually sit down and watch a full movie with them in it. Then the next one is Memories of Murder by Bong Joon-ho, which again have not seen it. So know next to nothing about it. So I'm just going to go to something that I might be. Yeah, Black Panther. Okay, so Black Panther at 96. I have seen. I enjoyed it, except for the big CGI fight towards the end of the movie. That's where I'm like, I'm not too pushed on that. So moving on to let's see, Minority Report, Steven Spielberg. Have not seen. That is number 94. So I have not seen that. Again, scrolling down a bit. Gladiator. Have not seen the original Gladiator, but I do want to watch it at some point. I do own it on Blu-ray. And again, it's another one of those movies that, like, what, you haven't seen Gladiator? Yeah, I haven't seen Gladiator, and I will, I'll get around to it eventually. That's why I have the movie series, the review series called Tales from My Backlog, which in July is making a return with two films, which I'll get into shortly. So 89 is Interstellar, which again is something that I have not seen, but I will get around to it eventually. So let's see. Okay, so 89 is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I have watched that. Again, speaking of Tales from My Backlog, that was something that I had watched for the very first Tales from My Backlog, I believe. And that, so I watched the entire trilogy for the very first time, and I enjoyed it. I love the trilogy, and Fellowship is probably my favorite of those movies. I'd say it goes Fellowship, then Return of the King, then The Two Towers, which I always get in, like, when I say that around some of my family members who are massive Lord of the Rings fans. They criticize my takes on that. They say, no, I'm wrong, that it goes The Two Towers, The Return of the King, then Fellowship, or Two Towers, Fellowship, then Return. So yeah, so far, so we're down to 87, and I've only seen two, and I've only wanted to watch two. So a lot of these I have not seen. Like Past Lives is next. I have not seen that. Anchorman, I've seen a bit of it. Again, not gonna probably watch it because I'm not a Will Ferrell fan. I just don't really like him all that much. Let's see if this is what I think it is. Do, 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 do. Okay. Then books. Black Swan. That's number 81. Have not seen that. Probably won't see it at all. So I'm probably after I get to 70, I'm going to skip ahead to the top 20. I'm not going to go through everything. So 77, Everywhere, Everything. Sorry, Everything Everywhere All at Once is one that I do want to see, but I have not seen it. So I will get around to it. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is next at 76. I have seen. I really enjoyed it. I do want to give it a rewatch at some point. Um, because I do own it. I think I own it on Blu-ray. I'm 99% sure I've seen it on Blu-ray. Ratatouille at 73. I do remember seeing this, and I thought it was okay. But then again, I was a kid, so I'm going to want to give it a rewatch at some point. Um, so Ocean's 11 at 71. Have not seen it. Probably won't see it. And then number 70 is Let the Right One In by Thomas Alfredson. I don't know why I'm butchering that, but anyway, yeah, I have not seen that. So I'm going to jump to the top 20 now. So because just because I'm not going to go through the top 60, 50, 40, 30. Now that I've gone through 100, 90, 80, 70, we'll go from the top 20. At number 20 is The Wolf of Wall Street, which I have seen. I do like the film. But is it as great as everyone says it is? No. But it's still a pretty good film. And at number 19 on the best 100 movies of the 21st century, according to the New York Times, is Zodiac, which I have not seen, but I do want to watch it at some point. Um, then we get to number 18, which is another foreign film, which oh boy, I don't even know how to even begin to pronounce it. Y2 Mama Tambourine. I more than likely have, no, I have definitely butchered that. Never heard of it. Brokeback Mountain, I have heard of, and I do want to give it a watch at some point. Number 16 is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which again, I have not seen, but I do want to watch it at some point. Number 15 is City of God, which I have not seen. Number 14 is Inglorious Bastards, which again, thanks to the Tales from My Backlog series, I have indeed watched it. Let's see. Number 13 is Children of Men, which I have heard of, but I'm not sure if I will watch it. Number 12 is The Zone of Interest, which never heard of. Number 11 is Mad Max Fury Road. I'm familiar with the Mad Max films. I have not seen a single one of them. So, yeah, that was number 20 to number 10. So, yeah, let's see what's in the top 10. Now, I'm constantly looking over this direction cuz I'm so used to that for like when I'm filming, but I got to get used to looking directly in the middle here. So, according to the New York Times top 100 best movies of the 21st century since the 1st of January 2000. Number 10 goes to The Social Network. And I agree that should be in the top 10 because it is definitely one of my favorite movies. Not top 10 worthy. It is, for me, it's definitely not top 10 worthy, but top 20 for sure. And I'm interested to see what we're going to see for this sequel that just recently got announced a day or two ago, where we are going to, and I think it's been in the works for a while. The supposed sequel to The Social Network, where it's going to focus around the misinformation, the spreading of misinformation on Facebook. which is going to be very, like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. So I will definitely see it because I love the first movie. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So number 9 is the first. I think it's the first Hayao Miyazaki film. Now again, because I haven't gone through the rest of this list, I don't know if any of the others appear on it. But number 9 is Spirited Away, which is apparently everyone's favorite Studio Ghibli film, which I have not seen. I've only seen one Studio Ghibli film, and that is my favorite movie of all time, which is Howl's Moving Castle. Number 8 is Get Out, directed by Jordan Peele, which I have not seen, but I do remember, when it was coming out, um, that it was like heavily marketed, and there's a reason there's a reason it's in the top 10. I may not have seen it, but I do know just how good of a film it is for it to make the top 10. So number 7 is my again jumps between my third and fourth favorite film, and I'm happy that it actually did get in the top 10, and that is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, directed by Mikhail Gondry. And I fucking love this movie. It was on my to watch list for the longest time. And then I sat down and watched it, and I fell in love with it. And then when I did my review for the film, I rewatched it and fell in love with it all over again, which is why that and The Truman Show are mixed between my two favorite movies of all time. So number 6 is No Country for Old Men, which I have not seen, but I do plan to watch it at some point. And number 5 is, so we're into the top 5 now, and we are starting off with Moonlight, which again I'm familiar with, but I have not seen, and I probably won't see. Number 4 is In the Mood for Love, which again I have not seen and probably never will, even though it's apparently the fourth best movie of the 21st century so far. So maybe I might give it a watch. I don't know. So we're now into the top 3, which is going to be interesting to see what they are. So number 3 is There Will Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson, which I have not seen uh, at all. So again, going into a lot of I haven't seen it. I'm not sure if I will see it unless someone tells me otherwise. Number 2 goes to Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, which is something that I have not watched. Go figure. And then number 1, um, according to New York Times, top 100 best movies of the 21st century, goes to Parasite, which is again another movie that I have not seen and probably never will. Um, so yeah, that was interesting. Interesting top 10, I will say. Considering the fact that in the top 10, I think I've only seen 2, which was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Social Network. Literally just 2 in the top 10 that I have seen, which just goes to show how massive my backlog truly is. Because I just haven't seen a lot of movies. I haven't. I've posted nearly 200 movie reviews on my channel, and that's still not good enough. I've done nearly 200 reviews, and I definitely need to up that. Definitely need to start focusing purely on movies that I have not seen, and maybe start watching them on my own time instead of actually um, saving it for movie reviews. So the next topic that I have for this live stream uh, is recent watches. So I'm going to pull up my Letterboxd here and we're going to go over what I have watched in the month of June, which, spoiler alert, it's not a lot. I haven't watched a lot of movies this month. I've watched 4. Yeah, I've watched 4. Though I am probably tomorrow going to watch one for which is going to be obviously a movie review for next month, because that's what one of my most recent watches is. So for this month, I have watched The Emperor's New Groove, which is a rewatch because I haven't seen that in, I don't know, 20 odd years. The same goes for Stuart Little and Stuart Little 2, which again, movies are that I haven't seen. And I actually watched them on VHS because, as you can see off to the side there, I do have my VHS player TV, which does indeed work. And so I have 48 VHSs in my collection as of yesterday, because I got 3 more off of my cousin who came back from America, which you'll see in the monthly pickups very, very soon. And so because I was actually reorganizing my collection on the app that I use to keep track of things called LibBib. And I mentioned in the Pickus video where I realized that I haven't, when I was scanning stuff to see if I had it, I accidentally deleted stuff off of it. So I ended up deleting the playlist that I had saved for my collection, that I keep track of. And so I had to start from scratch. And so whilst I was doing that, I actually was using the VHS player to have stuff on in the background, where I basically wasn't just those 3 movies that I watched, Emperor's New Groove, Stuart Little, and Stuart Little 2 on VHS. I basically also watched, because I have a TV show section for my VHS as well. And one of those was a bunch of Spider-Man episodes from this 1994 Spider-Man cartoon. So I watched that to start off with. Then I moved on to The Emperor's New Groove, and then I moved on to Stuart Little. And then the next day I did Stuart Little 2, which I still need to rewind. And then the last thing that I've seen this month is for the Tales from My Backlog series, and that is Creed 2. So yeah, I finally gotten back in. It's been a few months since I sat down and watched the first Creed film, so I decided to enter back into the Rocky universe to actually watch Creed 2, that now that I only have one more Creed film to watch. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. And I'm not going to go into too much details because, of course, I have my review for that coming out. Instead of actually, we'll do it this way. We'll go to YouTube, and then I'll enter into my YouTube studio, and then I will go to content and see. Yeah, so my Creed 2 review will be out on the 7th of July. So let me close that, and we'll go back here. Yeah, so the 7th of July is when you can expect my Creed 2 review. So then the other one that I will be watching as a Tales from My Backlog will be Prometheus, because once again I'm going to go back to the Alien franchise. But then again, I might change my mind. I might choose a different film. We'll see what my humor is closer to the time. So yeah, that's basically it. Because I actually have the email that was sent to me, about the rushes that you get from Letterboxd. So I can tell you how many films I have watched this year and how many hours. So this year alone, I know we're halfway through the year, I've only watched 43 movies. And that is generally because a lot of the times now, I've mentioned this, I'm not, like, as much as I love movies and I do talk about movies, and I have been talking about movies for nearly 4 years now. The only times that I would really actively go and watch a movie now is if I'm doing it for a review. The odd time I might do it, just for myself. If I feel like sticking on a movie, I'll stick on a movie. But usually it would be one that I have seen before. So that's why. So on average, I think I watch about like maybe 100 movies a year. So out of those 43 movies I've watched, set roughly 70 hours um, of movies this year. So, because though to be fair, last month, in May, I went to the cinema quite a bit. I went 3 times. Um, Obviously, I went to go see Thunderbolts when that first came out. I went then to see Final Destination Bloodline when that came out, which I absolutely loved. And then at the end of the month, I went to watch the series finale of Doctor Who in cinema because it was a 2-part where they showed the previous week's episode as well. But we'll get back to Doctor Who at the end of this live stream. So, but there's still some movies that I intend to that I'm still going to obviously be watching. Um, there's at least 2 in July, and then that's going to be it for a good bit because I don't think there's anything coming out in August, September, or October for me to watch. And apparently, I'm getting a Wi-Fi issue. Let me just check the live stream to see how that is going. Getting a Wi-Fi issue. Let me just check the live stream to see how. Apparently, it's going fine. But yeah, yeah. So next month, I plan to go to see, obviously, Superman and Fantastic Four when they do come out, which I am looking forward to seeing both of them. I've only bothered watching the trailer for one trailer for each, Superman and Fantastic Four. Though, of course, as I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm constantly seeing, stills from whenever they drop teasers and, and stuff like that. But that's something like when it comes to trailers for watching trailers for a movie that I'm going to see, I usually just watch one. I'll usually just watch one trailer, the very first trailer that drops, and then I won't bother with any of the other trailers. And that is because of the common complaint that trailers tend to ruin as the release date gets closer. They're obviously going to throw more stuff into the trailer, and then you're going to end up seeing half of the movie through these 3 or 4 different trailers and 5 or 6 different teaser trailers. And that's why I only stick to the one trailer. The very first trailer that drops, I watch it. If it interests me, I'll go see it. If not, then I won't. You know, um, and so that's like the first trailer for Superman, the first proper trailer really interested me, because I'm a casual Superman fan. When I say casual, I don't like I'm not going out buying the latest issue of the comic. Um, excuse me. I don't know a lot of the different backstories that he's had over the years. Um, stuff like that doesn't bother me. Don't even though I am reviewing like a bunch of Marvel movies lately, when they come into cinema, I'm not a big superhero guy. I was growing up. I love Spider Man, love Batman, but as I grew older, I strayed away from them. Now, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed the movies. You know, I still enjoy a lot of the Marvel movies that I have seen. I still haven't seen every Marvel movie because I just couldn't give a rat's ass to do so. There's still a lot of movies from Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4, Phase 5 that I haven't seen. I'm not even sure if we're on Phase 6 yet. But we do have our first comment. So we have AJ. Hi, AJ. Hope you're doing well, mate. Just basically talking about what movies that are coming out for the rest of this year that I plan to watch. Superman being one of them. But I did grow up watching Superman through, the likes of the Justice League cartoon that was out, as well as his appearances in, of course, some of the Batman cartoons that I watched as a kid. Um, and as for like the Marvel stuff, like I said, I grew up mainly on the cartoons more than the movies. Though there were still some of the early Marvel movies that I did watch. So like the cartoons that I grew up on was, the Fantastic Four. Um, yeah, I grew up on like the Fantastic Four. I grew up on X-Men '97. I grew up on Spider-Man '94. And they all interconnected. They all had crossover episodes and that was my introduction to those types of characters, and that's how I fell in love with them. And then, of course, the early 2000 movies. We have the Sam Raimi trilogy, which I still love, that I rewatched for the first time in 20 years. Um, the X-Men movie as well. The three X-Men movies that I haven't seen in 20 odd years, so I definitely need to rewatch them soon. As well as the other X-Men movies that came after that. And the first two Fantastic Four films, with Chris Evans in it as Johnny Storm. I grew up on those. I haven't watched Fan Four Stick. I probably never will. I'll be honest. I don't see a point in watching Fan Four Stick. But then, so that's why for these I'm going to see it, because again, these are somewhat of my part of my childhood, mainly Fantastic Four. That's one that I am looking forward to as well. To hopefully see that we do get, and in my opinion, I even though I haven't seen Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer in about 20 years, I still like them as a kid. I definitely need to rewatch them. I probably will rewatch them at some point. But those two movies are definitely going to have cinevlogs coming out. So AJ also says here, even I can't tell you what phase we're on now with Marvel. I wouldn't have thought I'd ever be saying that. I don't blame you. I really don't. There's actually, let me just keep that up for the moment. So yeah, like even on like TikTok and that, I've seen a few people talking about how Disney Plus Endgame and Disney Plus kind of ruined Marvel. Now, when it comes like talking about Endgame, I'm mainly they're talking about the box office. Seeing how that for a time was the most top grossing film of all time. Before James Cameron had a hissy fit and re-released the first Avatar film to dethrone Avengers Endgame again. And then, and that, so Disney seeing that, seeing how much money that raked in, they kind of shifted like, okay, let's try and do that. And it took 10 years to reach this goal. Let's do it in 5, and that's what's killed it, as well as Disney Plus, where a lot of, with a lot of these TV shows as well, the fact that it's required homework to watch these movies, in order to understand not watch the TV shows in order to understand these characters who appear in movies, is downright stupid. Now I'm with saying that there are definitely some Marvel TV series that are really, really good. WandaVision, Hawkeye, those two I really enjoyed. I've heard Daredevil Born Again is really good, though I haven't watched it. So there definitely are some that are really good from what I've heard, and I've heard a lot of good things about Ironheart. So I might take a look at that at some point. But yeah, it's like I've been saying, I pick and choose now when it comes to Marvel. And but like when it comes to like the Superman, I'm interested to see James Gunn's interpretation of Superman, to see where that goes. See if this is going to be the start to the new DCEU, or the DCU. So I'm looking forward to both of them. I'll be there day one, essentially. So AJ says, I think the older Fantastic Four films feel better than what I've seen of this new one. And you know, I get you. I feel the same, because and that's just my nostalgia glasses on for the early 2000s Fantastic Four films, because they're what I grew up with. Those are to me, those are still the Fantastic Four. I was very happy to see Chris Evans reprise the role of Johnny Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine last year. That was my one main hope for that, was to have him there as Johnny Storm. I absolutely loved that. So whilst yes, I am looking forward to Fantastic Four, it's gonna be very hard to compare to the ones that I grew up with. It's the same with Spider Man. I've seen the Sam Raimi trilogy. I've seen the three Spider Mans with Tom Holland. I haven't seen the Amazing Spider Man 1 or 2, so I definitely do want to get around to giving them a proper fair shot at some point. But Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland are nothing compared to Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He is my Spider-Man for a reason. He's the Spider-Man that I grew up with, and he's the Spider-Man that I love. So AJ also says characters feel really flat. I do get that, but I'm still going in optimistic for this new Fantastic Four film. AJ also said Marvel oversaturated the market until people didn't care. Exactly. During the start of the pandemic, I started to get into the Marvels films. I watched them out of order. I'm not going to lie. I did. I watched Endgame and Infinity War before I watched any of the other proper Marvel movies. Now, with saying that, there were still 1 or 2 that I had seen leading up to it. I seen Doctor Strange in cinema, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, I watched them out of order, and I was, especially when WandaVision came out, I was getting really hyped for it. I was starting to be engrossed into it, and I was watching these movies, and some of them are all right, some of them aren't great. Like I said, there's still a lot that I haven't seen. I've only seen the first 2 Iron Man films. I've seen the only Captain America film I haven't seen is Winter Soldier, which everyone claims to be the best one. That is yet to be seen for me. I've seen this 3rd and 4th Thor films as well. So you get I tend. That's the thing with me. I tend sometimes, if I'm getting into a franchise, I do things out of order for whatever reason. It's the same with the book reviews that I've been doing every odd month, where we're covering the Saga of Darren Shan, which is the vampire book series that I grew up on. I mentioned in those reviews that I read that series out of order. The same with the Demonata series, his second series. I read that out of order. I have a bad tendency to watch things out of order. But does that make it be that then that I'm confused on a lot of aspects, of things that I should know from the first movie going into like the second movie or something like that? Not really. When it came to the Marvel movies, not really, and that is simply because when the movies were coming out, I was watching a YouTube channel called CinemaWins, CinemaWins, and so I was watching him do going through the movie, and the wins like the CinemaSins does, and that's so I knew basically what was happening, stuff like that. So I knew going into when I was watching these movies for the first time, out of order, I knew what was the story beats from the previous films as well. Four films feel better cast than this new one, and yeah, they really do. Don't get me wrong, Chris Evans as Captain America is good. He is Captain America, but he's still always going to be Johnny Storm to me. Because that's my introduction to Chris Evans as an actor. So he's obviously going to still be Johnny Storm to me, and I really liked his Johnny Storm in those 2 movies. And it's like I said, I enjoyed seeing him in Deadpool and Wolverine. He slipped back into that role excellently. And I was happy to at least see one member of that Fantastic Four um, in some capacity in Deadpool and Wolverine. AJ also says Andrew Garfield was a really good Spider-Man. Unfortunately, the scripts, part two especially, not great. And yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I did attempt to watch Amazing Spider-Man 1. I think I turned it off in the first 2 minutes. Now, that could be twofold. It could be that I just wasn't interested in watching a movie at that point, or it just wasn't for me. I'll find out when I go to rewatch it, give it a proper watch, not rewatch, and give it a proper watch at some point. So those are the only two films in July that I'm actually actively going to go see. And then there's going to be a big stretch where there's going to be no Cinevlogs until November, and that is simply because, to my knowledge, there's nothing really that interests me that's coming out, after July, for me to actively go and try to watch, until November, when we get Predator Badlands, the sequel to Prey, that Predator film, um, which I am looking forward to as a Predator fan. I still have to watch that new animated Predator film that was released on Netflix. I still need to give that a watch, and I will give that a watch through at some point before November. So that I say probably August or September. I say I'll give that a watch. Someone better remind me, otherwise I'll forget, and then I won't end up going to see Predator Badlands, and then I'll wait for it to go on streaming, and then I'll watch it that way. And then after Predator Badlands, I'm pretty sure the last film that I'll be watching, new movie that I'll be watching this year, will be Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which I'm really looking forward to as a massive fan of the games. The most recent game came out, Secret of the Mimic. I watched the playthrough of that. I don't play the games. I just watch people play them and watch the theory-based videos. So I love the first film. I seen it twice. Because last year when it came out, we got it early. Ireland got it 2 days early than America, and so I went to go see it when it came out. And then the day it came out globally, because it was also released on streaming at that point. Me and two of my friends were sat in this room and we watched it. One who was a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, one who wasn't, and both loved the film. And from what I'm hearing, that they've taken the feedback on board from the last film. I'm hopeful that it's actually, this one is going to be properly scary. Which I'm, like I said, I'm really, really, really looking forward to. So that's three topics covered. The New York Times the top 100 movies of the 21st century, which is why there is that link at the top of the comments, because I went through that briefly. As a shock to probably no one, half of the films that are on that, not even half. Sorry, that's my phone notification going off. But yeah, about 3/3 of that list I have not seen. Now, I didn't go through all of them because otherwise I'd still be I still wouldn't, I'd still be fucking going through them, or and stuff like that. And then of course I went through my most recent watches, which isn't a lot, and then the movies that I'm looking forward to. AJ says, yeah, I want a I think he means I wasn't a fan of Five Nights, which is understandable. It's not a movie for everyone. Which he, I was correct. He does correct himself there. But yeah, I enjoyed it because it's what I grew up with. And I enjoy it, and I am looking forward to it. So the next topic that I have is what's next for the channel. So I do have July planned out, of which I don't have a lot of it filmed. I still need to work on that. Though a lot of them are like cinevlogs, You know, like I said, there's going to be 2 Cinevlogs for next month. I have 3 videos done out of 8, so I still have Prometheus to watch. Then it has the Tales from my backlog, though that may change. It depends on my mood. And then I need to come up with something else for another video, and then that's that. Um, prefer the Nick Cage one. Yeah, I still need to watch that. As I'm forever saying, my backlog keeps growing by the minute of movies that I have yet to see. You know, I'm sure AJ could probably list 5 movies off the bat, and I guarantee I probably haven't seen any of them. So that is a challenge there for you, AJ. List 5 movies, and we'll see if I've seen them. But yeah, because like this month I've been, of course, doing the 30-day movie challenge. I'm starting to regret it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm starting to regret doing it. And that's solely because I think it's killing the channel. View-wise, it's definitely killing the channel. Where it's I don't know. I know I shouldn't care about views and stuff like that. But where it gets to the point where a video that I posted only gets like 4 views in like a day, 4 to 6 views in a day, kind of bothers me. When I'm so used to roughly getting, when I was like before doing the 30-day movie challenge, was getting like 30 to 50 views a video. But these things happen. I'm sure I will, of course, bounce back. But it does kind of burn me out a little bit. Which I almost took July off, but I didn't. So AJ has posted 3 movies so far, and let's see if I've actually seen them. So first off, we have Below, which I am pretty sure I have not watched. It's a 2002 film. Because again, the beautiful part of actually doing this on my laptop frees up my phone here for me to use. It's a horror war film, hour and 45 minutes, and I have not seen it. And of course, I should have known. It's AJ. Of course, there's going to be some submarine related. The next one he has suggested. So that's 0 for 1. For movies that he suggested that I have not seen. Midnight Run is yet another one that I have not seen. Midnight Run, 1988, 2 hours 6 minutes. Definitely Robert De Niro, Charles Gordon. Yeah, have not seen it at all. So 0 for 2. So let's see. We have our third one here of Awakenings. Have not seen it. 1992 hours. Another De Niro film, but with Robin Williams. Yeah, have not seen it whatsoever. So we're 0 for 3. Now we get to Deep Rising. I'm dyslexic, so that's why I accidentally said that as Dead Rising. So Deep Rising, a movie that came out the year I was born, 1998, an hour and 46 minutes. And again, have not seen it whatsoever. I don't even recognize some of the actors who are in it. So we're 0 for 4. And then, of course, lastly, to probably the surprise of no one, I have not seen Alligator. 1980, hour and 34 minutes. But I believe I'm familiar with the premise by the looks of some of these posters. Um, yeah, Flushaway Pet now is a king size mutant crocodile named Ramon. So yes, I am familiar with the concept of alligator, um, but it is not a film that I have seen. So as I've just proven my point, I am 0 for 5 for films that AJ has listed there. So once again, we have Below, uh, Midnight Run, we have Awakenings, then we have Deep Rising, and Alligator. All films I have not seen. Uh, so yeah, surprise to absolutely no one. Um, but yeah, I haven't actually planned out August's uploads, which I probably should do in the next day or so, because again, there'll be probably what, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, about 8 uploads that month. Mondays and Fridays. Obviously, as well, we'll have Star Trek Strange New Worlds in between that point as well. So there's AJ laughing at the fact that, again, I have not seen any of those films that he has suggested. But yeah, so of course, next in July, on the 17th, we'll have the 3rd season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which of course I will be reviewing. That's my reviews will be out later than what I normally would have posted my reviews for that, which is the first thing I do when I wake up would be watch that. But because I'm in my course until 4 o'clock, and then I have to go do my food shopping, so my review will probably be up later than normal for that, which is it's still fine. So I am looking forward to that. But yeah, so I have a few videos scheduled out. Like I actually have one video for August set up already, which is of course the last of the Saga of Darren Shan book reviews. So yeah, there's not really much that I have now planned. I might do another another trilogy month. When does Stranger World start? The 17th of July is correct. Yeah, so the 17th of July is when the 3rd season of Stranger Worlds is finally coming. Thank Christ, because it's been 2 years. And I want it to be done. Actually, AJ, did I send you the episode titles for season 3? Let me quickly check Messenger on that one. I'm pretty sure I sent you the episode titles for season 3. Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, I did. So that's good to know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very hyped for it. But yeah, so there's not really. I have one more topic really to talk about that I have written down. Let me flick back here on my little notebook here to where I was. Here we are. And then of course is Doctor Who and Star Trek, but I'll push that back for a little bit. 2 years, blimey. Yeah, it has been 2 years. Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 2, 2022 was when the last episode of season 2 came out, Hegemony, which is wild. Yes, you did send those. Send the titles. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I did actually get something new Star Trek related that I'm going to show off. So I'm going to take off the headset whilst I go grab it. So this is going to be a spoiler for the last monthly pickups video. So what I got off of Amazon is another running press little kit type of thing, and that is the Borg cube. It's about time that I added something Borg related into my collection. Let me knock off this ring light so you can probably no, actually, the ring light was actually helping. You see it. So this was like €14 on Amazon. So here it is up close. It is very detailed, which I absolutely love. And you know me, if you've watched this channel long enough, you know just how much I love the Borg. So this actually does light up and it does make sound. So I'm gonna have to hold it close to the mic so you can hear it. And then so that was from The Best of Both Worlds, or it might have actually been from Emissary Part 1, where they actually showed the Battle of Wolf 359. It only has 4 sounds, so that was 2 of them. That's number 3. And I'll bring it up close so you can actually see the lights. The camera on this laptop isn't, well, it's because I'm not arsed to pay for premium on StreamYards. It's, you know, filming in 720p. That actually does remind me, I want to go cancel a subscription. Now that I'm fully editing on this full time on my new laptop full time now, I don't need the what I was paying for subscription wise, which was Filmora, because I stopped using so we'll go cancel. No thanks. Decline to answer. Cancel subscription. Okay, good. That's set up. That's saving me $5 a month now. So where was I? Yeah, so because I'm editing on this full time, with CapCut, they put like I stopped using because they kept locking a lot of stuff behind pro features now, stuff that used to be for free. And I just realized something that I was supposed to do when I started streaming. That was to make an Instagram post talking about the live stream that I'm doing. So I'm actually going to do that right now, though. Fat lot of good that is actually going to do. So we'll get the story going here. I know that's a photo. We'll discard that. Hello, I have been currently live over on the YouTube channel for the past hour and a bit. Probably going to try to go for another hour or so. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, click the link there. That should bring you over to the live stream. Forgot to do this as soon as I started the live stream, but better late than never. So that's that done. Let me grab do up the link. Do that and my story. But yeah, no, because CapCut changed they updated the terms of service. So we're just going to quickly run through the comments because AJ's mentioned something here that I'm going to which is related to this. So he says that's cool. Then he says nice collectible. Thank you very much. I use CapCut on my mobile, and he's also saying that he's got to go. He's away in Cornwall at the moment. Speak soon, mate. Thank you very much for hopping in there, AJ. I really appreciate that. I will definitely talk to you soon, and I hope you'll end up watching the VOD after this, because this is gonna what the information I was going to say about CapCut. It does pertain to you, because you do say that you still use it on your phone. He says, "Yeah, I know they do that. Scumbags lock stuff behind a paywall." Well, in the most recent update, to their terms and conditions, they now own everything that you edit in their app. So it doesn't matter if you just like throw it into a timeline, they still own that, and they can do with whatever they want with with your footage, basically your edits and what have you. They have full rights to use it however they want, which is stupid. Like, it is massively stupid. Like, they're killing themselves so quickly, CapCut, because of that. I jumped ship the moment I couldn't render in 1080p anymore, where I only had like two 1080p renders a month. I was like, no, fuck that. I went to Filmora, which Filmora again would only let me render out in 720p unless I upgraded the Pro features. But the Pro on Filmora is like a $5 a month. Like, not sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored by Filmora. Saying that, that's just what I did. Same UI as well as CapCut. So that's where I edited a bunch of my videos for the past couple of months before I bought my new laptop. And now I use a completely different editing software. Um, but yeah, that's why I hate CapCut now, is the fact that they are doing that. But anyway, yeah, this was like 14 euro. This Epic Borg cube that I got on Amazon. There's still two more running press items that I have yet to get, and that is the TOS style of communicator, which I had bought, but I bought it for somebody for Christmas. And then there is of course the TNG tricorder. So I'll be acquiring them very, very soon, probably over the next month or two. So yeah, there's not really much else for me to talk about, except for, of course, Star Trek and Doctor Who. Now, I was talking a bit about Star Trek, about Strange New Worlds, which obviously we got the word that that's only getting 5 seasons, like some of the other Treks. Discovery, Lower Decks, they got 5 seasons, which, as sad as that is, and I hate that, a lot of these Star Trek shows that are only getting to 5 seasons. It's modern television now. For modern TV shows, you'd be lucky to make it to 5 seasons, or to make it up to 5 seasons or even beyond. And so the fact that we are getting 5 seasons, and it's been confirmed before, like just before they actually do go for season 5, because they're still filming season 4 at the moment. That is a good thing, because that means we will get a proper satisfying ending compared to Discovery and Lower Decks. But hey, that's that. And then that means the only other Star Trek TV series that we have is Starfleet Academy, which we know we have 2 seasons of. We're still waiting for a trailer for season 1. And then, of course, there is that comedy series that the voice actress for Mariner is working on. But with the whole Skydance Paramount merger, I'm not entirely sure if that will still go ahead. AJ did send me a video actually about someone talking about this who had insider information. That once Quinn's contract ends, that's it. That they're gonna probably move to like movies or something like that. So it's sad. It's sad that again we're probably going to be entering into another dark age of for Star Trek, where there's barely any new content being made, especially next year. Considering next year is the 60th anniversary, and we don't know what they're going to do for the 60th. We really don't. they've been very quiet, actually. Especially the past year or two for First Contact Day, where that First Contact where they would do a bunch of panels, interview cast members, uh, talk about that's when we get a bunch of trailer releases and announcements and stuff like that. And we haven't for the past 2 years, I want to say. And that sucks because I love Star Trek. I love Discovery. I loved all modern Star Trek, and I love all classic Star Trek. Love them all. Obviously, I prefer some over others. But yeah, and it's the same with Doctor Who. And that's why I've kind of decided in terms of like Doctor Who. The way that Russell T Davies is mainly just doing, um, generating content just to get people to talk about it and have it not make narrative sense. That that and the piss poor reality war ending, the fact that Shooty basically was forced to leave because there was no word on a season 3. And that's why he bought himself out of the contract, so he can go pursue other things instead of sitting around waiting to see if they're going to get the call to film a season 3. Even though on the Graham Norton show he did say it was cut. It was cut, but during the actual taping of it, people heard that he did say that there was going to be season 3. So yeah, I think I'm done. I'm not done watching Doctor Who, but I'm done reviewing Doctor Who on this channel. New episodes of Doctor Who. I'm still have a bunch of classic Doctor Who's to watch and review. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm gonna call the stream here, which was a complete and utter waste of me doing a bloody Instagram story talking about that I was doing the live stream because I'm literally just finished. But that's me. That is something that I should have done when I started. But with saying that, live streams will definitely be more regularly on the channel, moving forward now. I will probably look to reach out to invite guests on. I did reach out to someone, but unfortunately he was busy tonight, so that's why it's just little old me today. But they're not going to be like every week, but it might be like an every other week thing, because I'm pretty busy Monday to Friday with my course. Saturdays are really my only day off, and then Sunday afternoons I go to locals to play a card game called Yu-Gi-Oh!, which again I do have a YouTube channel for that. I do have my vlog channel, so that is something that I forgot to do as well, as opposed to like include a little clip or something like that. But I'll grab it off of this. But that is going to wrap this live stream up. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, I'll be back again tomorrow because we only have 2 more days of this month left, which means there's only 2 more videos for the 30-day movie challenge. So I can tell you now that tomorrow's question for the 30-day movie challenge is your favorite trilogy. So in order to find out what my favorite movie trilogy is, come back tomorrow 3 p.m. I'll see you all next time.